Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Now, anyone notice what's wrong with this little image here? Okay, it was a cat, it was a bit weird. There is a T7, there is a hedge trimmer. So, as many of you know, we've been having problems with this T7. It's got to go back up to dealer and possibly even get split. It sucks. But we'll talk about a bit more about that later on when I have a bit of a rant on things. Hedge trimming's come to a halt for a moment because that's got to go back. But the trimmer, up to this point, has been working absolutely fantastically. Even with the F10s, she has been, well, she and ads, HRS, they have been getting through it pretty well. As you can see behind me, we've been having quite nice blue skies for the last 5-6 days. But the grey old damp is back. So that's a bit of a killer. Maybe the T5 will have to come to the rescue and go on the edge for a minute. It won't happen. It'll take HRS way too long to set that up. And the bonnet guard, that would have to be completely adjusted because of the loader in the way. And then the brackets wouldn't also fit either. So it wouldn't really work very well. Now, I've got to go baling, but there is something new coming today. So it's here, and I was having breakfast, so I missed it. So what's just turned up is the new Thehayteamtv AGRIXTRA. Beauty. So compared to this one, she out there is a lot cleaner. Here she comes. I'll get a shot of her coming off the lorry. I actually should be rushing to clear my fast track out, which I still haven't done this morning because I was baling. Right, I need a box. So one of these will do. So they always have a hole in the bottom. Rip the panel off. Just let it sit down there. I'm going to start chucking stuff in it in a minute. Oh, get out of the way. I'm going to start chucking stuff in the box in a second. It won't go through at all. So there she goes, sat. So, signed all the documents. Now, I'm gonna drop the spikes off this one. We're not gonna send back our old pallet forks, because our old pallet forks, which are located just there on their actual plate, we had obviously fitted to that. So we don't need them on this one or off this one. So we're going to have these get swapped over and go back. So she is off. Anyone who buys that 538 is going to get a good deal, because other than being really covered in dust right now, once she is washed off everywhere, she will look absolutely brand new. So be a pretty good buy. Now, we haven't sent it back with the forks because the forks over there are actually taller than the forks that we have on our plate here, but we can't take them off really quickly because we've broken that pin. But what we're going to do is end up keep those forks and send these back, which they'll get picked up at another point in time. There's another reason, and Dan, if you're watching, I know you're watching, and I'm not going to say Dan's surname, but when the other thing arrives, these two forks will go back with that one, because it's going to the same place anyway. But because those forks are taller, so they will sit lower than these, which means you'll have like a good 4 inches extra visibility in your tines for when we are like lifting stuff up and moving stuff around. And that's what I mean there. So that bottom part of the time is got a good 4, maybe 6 inches of extra visibility. So that'll go on our plate. Brand new. It's going to be covered in dust in no time at all, because that's just what happens. The paint on it, it's not letting that slide on like it should do. But, very sweet. So, AGRIXTRA to Super that we just did have. So AGRIXTRA from the Agri Pro that is just going. It's not a great deal. There isn't a huge amount of difference in all honesty. The biggest and most important difference is warranty. The warranties run out on that one. Warranties all go on this one. Now, like everything right now, obviously is all lovely and smooth. Boom speed is always epic on all of them. Inside, anything new? Not. Well, I spent a lot of time in these. There is not anything that stands out to me right now of being different at all. Not a thing. So it's pretty much same. I'm gonna now get things like my mount, which I have there for my phone, my magnet one, and start putting things back in here in a second. Most importantly, what goes down here is my remote for our remote control wrapper, because if it's not put there, when it comes to wrapping, I will just not be able to find it. It's better it goes back in straight from the box, which I just filled up with stuff, and put back in here. Not everything from the box is going to go back in here, okay? Not all of it, but largely a lot of what's in the box is going to go back in here, like now, so it's where it needs to be. But it has got that lovely new smell, rather than the smell of the other one, which was probably dust and sweat. So that is a nice thing. I'll have a look around the outside in a second. And there goes the Agri Pro. It's done our time. On one telehandler arriving, the New Holland's now going up to the other farm because the bigger lorry come in. HRS taking it up. So that's going up to get sorted out for whatever problem it has. I'm not going up to the next bit, so you won't see that going out on a lorry, because it's just another vehicle going out on a lorry. It looks a bit like the other vehicle that goes out on a lorry, apart from it's blue and not yellow. And it's going off to get repair. So, I'm going back to what I was doing, which is baling, and then I'll chuck a set of pallet forks on the telehandler in a minute. And move some pallets around and see if there's anything different about driving her than my old one. But pretty much there's not anything different at the moment. It's pretty bog standard the same. Now the AGRIXTRA, voila, she is pretty much the same. Me and the big boss man a minute ago sort of were like saying that the front of the bonnet looks like it slopes a little bit more. Wish it might do, there might be a tweak there, but it's not anything that is really drastically different. Front axle, paintwork, all the same. The only real difference we've done, which is an extra, this is a filter that basically is just doing the cab. So you can see the pipe work going down there. So normally on handled tractors, your dust cleaning filter is in with the engine bay, and that is basically cleaning air that's going to the engine and the cab, the aircon, all that. For us, in our dusty environments, whether it's here, stacking hay in sheds, putting stuff away all the way through the summer, we've put in this independent air filtration system. So this one is just doing the cab only, and then we've got the filter in the engine bay, which is just doing the engine only. That makes sense. So therefore drivers a lot of time me. We've got a cleaner cab with less dust in there, you know, just looking self-preservation, I think, is the best way of putting it. So that is a handy thing. And then the camera is being moved from up there, because it's usually here. That was HRS's idea, because he was like, I always end up whacking a little bit of wood in that little gap there, or like a little stack of coins to basically pack it so this didn't move. Well, what they've done instead is they've moved the light up here, which is way better, because you get better angles on the light, because the light else would be rigid. And we've put the camera there and made the camera rigid rather than moving around, so the camera's always in the same place. Now, this telehandler is also 8 horsepower more than the old one. Not that makes much of a difference. So there is another little difference. Other than like subtle differences, there's not much in it. But she is, well, she's as lovely to drive as the other one was, to be honest. With the added benefit of, oh, messed that up. With the added benefit of the warranty is fully intact again. That makes added benefit of having all the warranty back, if that makes sense, which is what we like on these things, because if anything goes wrong, they're not exactly the cheapest things to fix. I know some of you are thinking probably like, why am I using this one and not using Wiz? But I always spend so much time loading bales in the factory that I end up sort of doing a bit of multitasking. So I just stay in one cab, just change my on the front, especially when you've got quick attachments. It's just easier. I broke that pallet a second ago. Just get the lat out of the way. Heater's working well right now. It's got really cold down here again, and this isn't part of it. This is just Rhino's little dog bed put back in the corner, so it sort of settles and stays there. Nothing other than that or anything weird. Now, with everything going on around here at the moment, and yes, there's a nice new telehandler here, there's obviously a new Holland that's had to go back because of an issue. I'm having a bit of a time at the moment of getting really annoyed that it's not dealer faults. Dealers are legends. CR Wilcox, where we get our new Hollands from, are brilliant, absolutely fantastic. We can't fault them. And then we got RSM Beers, where we get our fast tracks and hand or JCB stuff from, and a Coon stuff. Absolutely fantastic. But factories, like the actual manufacturers, I think at the moment are doing an absolute crap job. And I don't care if someone says, oh, they're still catching up on stock and all this. All these things, it's no excuse for sending out stuff that isn't like ready. It's, for me, it's just not good enough. The amount that all of us that are buying this gear pay for it, and it doesn't matter if it's a new hay bob, a new tractor, new digger, swing shovel, handler, baler, mower, whatever. Like, things aren't coming out of factories right, and you know, especially tractor stuff, they get PDI before they leave the factory, and then they get brought to a depot and then they're re-PDI'd, where it should be up for freaking every dealer to be going through and looking for all the bollocks and problems that it left the factory with. And I personally don't think it's bloody good enough. and it's doing my head in. Like, we change gear all the time, and it never used to be that bad. But like at the moment, you know, we've got 2 fast tracks, and it's not. RSMBs are brilliant at sorting it out. Wrong pallet. RSMBs are, again, fantastic at sorting it out. But, you know, they shouldn't have to. It should come out of the JCB factory and be pretty faultless. And I know that's why we get warranty, but it's like right now, like the other day, I had to take a T5 out and do fields that I wasn't planning on spreading because just that's what I had to work with. And I should have been in a fast track going exactly where and doing what I wanted with twice as big loads, so I wouldn't have been doing so many loads, you know, everything. And it's even worse because you'd think that supporting British agriculture, and we support British agricultural machinery the best we can too, or British and Irish. Yeah, we've got a little bit of French stuff here as well, but largely JCB's all made in Britain. So I kind of hold it all in way more high regard than most, that it should just come out right. I can't remember if it's the T5 size. No, I think the T5 size New Holland is built in Austria, but I think the T7 210 New Holland did used to be built over here, didn't they? I can't remember off the top of my head right now if I am right on that. What are they built? Are they built at Stoneleigh? Something like that. I thought they were. I thought the T6s and T7s were built over here, which again, it's kind of supporting British built tractors, isn't it? Even if the manufacturer isn't owned by a British company anymore. So yeah, I personally don't think things should be coming out with the faults that they come up with. And as I say, there's 2 faults on Adam's fast track. He's got a brakes problem where the brakes are screaming every time he uses them. Being way too noisy, and he's got a surging problem, which is a computer problem, that when he's got his tractor revving really high and he tries to use this 3-point linkage, his links go really slow if the tractor's revving, but if he drops his revs then they go really quickly. That's apparently a software issue. My handler's had an airline problem since we had, or my fast track's had an airline problem since we had it, and then on top of that had a hydraulic failure the other day, which that's been sorted, so that's not a problem, but the airline thing's still there. And then obviously we've got the T7 issue, but you know, it's all new kit. This shouldn't happen. So we're stumped on hedge trimming now. Like, because we don't know how long it's going to take to get the tractor back. And no, we're not going to, as I said earlier, we're not going to put that on the T5, it's not worth it. So, yeah, there's my little rant. If any of you think the same, let us know in the comments below. Or if you think that I'm overstepping the mark on what I'm saying, again, let me know the thing. But this is just one little thing that is doing my head at the moment, which I want to talk about. And I'm going to start a thing on Sundays, I think, of discussing what I think are issues in ag. So, but I'm going to leave this video here because I've got strapped down pallets in a minute. You lot don't want to see that. So, if you want to see any more of us, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat and Twitter. If you haven't yet done so, please give us a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. Ring the bell if you want to be notified any time that we are posting a video. And on top of that, if you'd like to support our channel, please leave a thumbs up, that'd be brilliant. But you guys, keep working hard, stay awesome. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.